Ladies and gentlemen, I know we've talked about this in previous episodes.
We've mentioned our affinity for it.
DC animated movies.
Yeah, we kind of like them.
Are pure genius.
Yeah.
And I proved that again last night. And
yes. I am jealous. I am very jealous.
So, starting back with the Batman animated series is really what kicked off
92, 94.
The modern DC animated universe. Yeah, it was around. No, because I was still in high school, so it might have been like 92, 93, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was early 90s.
It is. They are the best voice acted, best written adult cartoons.
Yeah,
I think you can find today.
Period.
Like, I love anime, and there's a lot of great anime. Like we've talked about, the Castlevania series is great. Consistently, though, the DC animated movies, and they always try to one up themselves.
Yeah.
With either violence, like the Apocalypse Dark movie and any of the DC Dark movies, Justice League Dark. Those movies, it's like, okay, we're going to take violence to a new level.
Yeah.
There are some missteps. Like, I'm not a massive fan of Doomsday, the telling of the Doomsday story with Superman. I wasn't a massive fan. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was curious.
But primarily, it's the Batman movies.
Yeah. They always
got
strike
Batman
it on Batman.
so right.
And they know how to iterate on Batman.
Oh my god.
It's insane, because you'd think at this point they'd be like, oh, we ran... No. They still keep finding things for Batman to do that only Batman can do, and you're sitting there cheering him. Although there's also the joy of the DC animated movies and having to rewatch all of them this last week, which is every time it comes up, I get to say, "Aw, Bruce, did something happen to your parents, Bruce? Did something... Oh my god, Bruce, did something happen to your parents?"
Oh, well.
The story told too many times.
Too many times. They have to mention it in every one.
They have to at least bring it up.
So, it is... this is my opinion on why I think DC animated movies are so much better than the live action. The DC universe, unlike the Marvel universe, is based in fictional cities, places.
Yep.
Where Marvel's based on
reality.
New York City and reality. And the stories just transition better to an animated format than a live action format, because the characters, just their powers and their abilities seem more fantastical to an extent, and you can just do more. Like with Batman, we want to see him almost acting more like Spider-Man with him flying around the city.
Yeah.
You can't really do that live action.
No.
You can't show that. It's more, if you think of all the live action Batman movies, it's very little of seeing Batman actually running across.
He's always driving places.
He's flying in the plane or whatnot.
Yeah.
In these movies, you actually see him like
hopping rooftops.
Batman: The Long Halloween, which is the one I watched last night, which is my second favorite DC animated movie of all time. There is a scene in the beginning where Batman is chasing Catwoman, and it's them trying to one-up each other of jumping over from rooftop to rooftop, and it's amazing. Like, it's an action scene that you're just, like, enthralled in, because they're playing, no pun intended, cat and mouse, pretty much, and she's in the lead, and she keeps doing these more elaborate things, and then he does them, and sometimes it doesn't work out quite so well, and it's incredibly entertaining, and it's character building. Because there's a relationship between these two, and even though there's slightly antagonistical relationship between them, there's also a lot of love.
Well, and you want to talk about iterating. There's another scene of Batman chasing someone on rooftops who he loves, who's trying to get away from him, in Under the Red Hood.
Well, that's
which is
favorite one of
my
all time.
favorite, yeah.
That's my favorite of all time, too.
And again, same thing.
Yep.
You can feel the drama. You can feel the emotional intensity of the situation in the moment. And it's just this, where's this going?
Yeah.
How do we stop that? There's nothing stopping this.
Especially those who know that, because I don't believe at that point in the story the Red Hood's identity had been...
No, he was still...
But those of us that know who it is, makes it that much more intense.
Yeah, we don't find out until the next scene.
Yeah.
That it's Jason Todd.
They're Jason Todd.
But you see all these things and you're like, wait a minute. And they say things like, do you know anybody who can pull off a move like that who's not You or Me?
Yeah.
And yeah, I do. It's Jason Todd. And oh, by the way, that's who that is. So
Yeah.
I love Under the Red Hood. I love that movie so much. It's so good.
That is, and I have so much love for so many of the films. Like a lot of the classic Batmans, like Mask of the Phantasm, Sub-Zero is great. And then like Flashpoint. Love Flashpoint.
So good.
Justice League, New Frontiers.
Great
movie.
I love Justice League New Frontiers.
It's so good.
I love that stupid movie so much.
And then all of the Justice League Dark movies. Huge fan of.
They're both amazing.
Batman, Blood Moon, I think is the name of it.
Bad Blood?
What's that?
Bad Blood?
Might be Bad Blood.
The one with Batwoman. And,
yes.
Yeah.
And then Superman, The Red Sun. Gods and Monsters, or not Gods and Monsters? Is it Gods and Monsters?
I think it's Gods and Monsters.
It's Gods and Monsters. Like they do such a great job,
and they're all just solid hits.
Yes.
Like I haven't watched Killing Joke because that did get tremendously bad reviews.
It is great. Now, mind you, it's not. See, here's the thing. Not everything is going to be exactly like the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Page for page.
Yeah.
And kind of similar with The Dark Knight, where they split that into 2 movies.
Yeah.
That's great. It's not as good as the graphic novel, but as the transition goes, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Same thing with The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke, it isn't perfect because you're following one of the greatest pieces of literature ever written.
Yeah.
But for what they accomplished, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I gotta check it out because
it's a rated R.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the first rated R DC animated movie.
Yeah,
and it lives up to it. Like they don't pull the punches when it comes to shooting Barbara Gordon and torturing Commissioner Gordon.
No.
They don't pull any punches.
Well, so it's so interesting because that actually sounds similar to how I felt about Hush. Because
yes, I loved Hush.
I loved the Hush graphic novel.
Yep, me too.
I loved it, and then I saw the movie. And I was like, oh, you changed the ending. Okay. I guess, but I don't know. I kind of like the other ending more. And so it was just this kind of conflict of, oh, I'm really liking everything that they're doing. And then you get to the ending and you're like, in another world, I would love this ending.
Yeah.
But I know
once
the
again,
actual
you gotta
ending.
wonder and this is the perspective I always like to look at, did it translate well to film? And that's where people that complain about with graphic novels, it's like, all the people that complain about the Hobbit movies, it's like certain things, like even Peter Jackson said, he goes, certain things just don't equate well to cinema.
Well, the problem...
I know the problem with that.
They made 2 extra movies.
They made 2 extra movies, but you can make 17. I would watch them all. But it's... Some things don't translate well from the page to the screen, and so you do need to make certain changes. But as long as the heart of the movie is there.
Yes.
That to me, that I'm okay with.
That it goes back to our lovely Faramir law.
Yes.
Where it can't be too different.
Exactly.
If it becomes too different, then it's a different thing. And that scale is different for every person. Mm-hmm. My mom still, she's been receptive to the idea of rewatching them, but for years she has greatly disliked the Lord of the Rings movies because they don't have Tom Bombadil in them. And because they ruined Faramir as a character. Yeah. When I was talking to her about the Faramir law, she was like, oh, so you're on my side with this. And I was like, I don't think you're going to like where this is going. Because this is all about, does this as an adaptative change ruin the piece because it's so different? And I got to go back and watch Hush again. I should watch Killing Joke. I thought about watching it this week, but I decided to watch the Harley Quinn animated series instead, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's fascinating because it's like DC through the eyes of Harley Quinn, and I really like the writing of Harley and Poison Ivy. I think that stuff is excellent. I think the tongue-in-cheek stuff is really good. Man, I would be lying if I said I wasn't annoyed at some of the character choices they made for the sidekicks.
Yeah, and it's just, it looks more like a kiddie animated show.
It reminds me a lot of like an Adult Swim
Yeah, like Teen Titans. Or
yeah,
like
yeah, and you know, it's like it's fine. It's fascinating as a what you want to talk about a fascinating what if story. It's a fascinating what if story, and it's a very interesting study on the DC universe as a whole. It's also way too dark at times.
Yeah,
like it gets like I don't mind dark, but killing an entire family at a family reunion is a
right
little
out of the Punisher's rulebook.
Yeah, it's a little too dark for me. It's this got a little. I know that your point was that this is a very dark character, and you wanted to reiterate that, but this is very dark. Having innocents be eaten alive by just mutated trees, to the point where you just see them being bitten into pieces. I don't know, guys. This seems a little weird. This is a little heavy. This is a little heavy.
For those of you that don't know, Harley Quinn was introduced to the DC universe in the Batman animated series. So for those of you who love her, it came from DC animated.
That's my
my favorite version of Harley Quinn ever, even though I love Margot Robbie in this last movie, in the Suicide Squad, was Suicide Squad Attack on Arkham.
Yes.
She was awesome in that movie.
Yes.
Like, they made her so great, especially the violent sex scene she had with Deadshot, which they were like punching each other, and it was amazing. I'm watching that like, oh my god, this is incredible.
Yeah,
that's a Harley Quinn right there. Somebody who's so out of her mind, but everyone wants to bang her because she's so sexy. But what do you do in a sex scene? You're just gonna beat the shit out of each other while you bang.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much what happened.
I've seen so much Harley Quinn in the last week and a half. It's interesting.
Oh, I can imagine.
I will say it's a stupid complaint. It's a very silly minor complaint. But anytime they don't get Tara Strong to play Harley Quinn, who originated the role, and is kind of the Steve Ditko to Harley Quinn, as Steve Ditko was to Spider-Man, where it's like Stan Lee created him, but Steve Ditko kind of made everything about Spider-Man.
It's kind of the same with Kevin Conroy and Batman.
Exactly. Like
Mark Hamill and the Joker.
But Harley Quinn was literally made in this series, and Tara Strong brought that character to life, and anytime she's not listed as Harley Quinn, I kind of just look at it like, okay, I mean...
It makes you wonder, is she asking for a lot of money?
I don't know.
Because it's like,
I think sometimes it's just...
Why would you not put that person? Unless she's doing something else and she just doesn't have time to voice it.
Yeah.
Because most of these voice actors are doing a million things.
They're super busy all the time. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm biased because this one has Kaylee Cuoco.
Oh, she does Harley Quinn?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I didn't realize that.
She sounds like Kristen Schaal, which is fine. I don't like her as an actress. I don't like a lot of the decisions she makes as an actress. Yeah. She's fine here, but but pivoting, staying on Batman.
Okay.
What I saw for the first time, and you want to talk about a great blue ribbon winning what if story. Have you seen Gotham by Gaslight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, they've done two. The Gotham by Gaslight and then the Batman Ninja one, or the Samurai. What was the
Batman Ninja. I was less of a fan of Batman Ninja, but Gotham
But I love the animated of. No, Gotham by Gaslight was
oh my God. I had never seen it because I saw Batman Ninja, and I was like, okay. Yeah. So I saw Gotham by Gaslight came out, and I was like, I'm going to skip this one after Batman Ninja, because once it got, of course, to a giant mech battle, because it had to end in a giant mech battle, there's just something about it that I was just like, I can't, in good conscience, get behind you guys on this one. I can't do it. They just watched
the end of the Wolverine, and they're like, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
So, yeah. But Gotham by Gaslight,
dude, so good.
It might be one of the best what-if stories ever written.
Yeah.
I want to spoil it so bad, and yet I don't, because
we're spoilers here.
Okay.
That's what we do.
The way... So everything about this, in terms of adaptative choices, is brilliant.
Yes. From
the introduction of the Robins as this street gang, and you just hear one of them is Jason, and the other one is Dickie, and then you see the third one, he has a stick, and you're like, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. I know who you stupid rapscallions are. And then, the way that they use Catwoman as a character, where she was a lion tamer, and she was from a circus family. I was like, oh, yes, let's do it. Let's dig in. We're going to dig in the constant callbacks to sexism in that era, and kind of the problems with Gothic Victorian era, and, so many good things. And every step of the way, I was like, oh, okay. He has a doctor bag. It's Hugo Strange. Even though he doesn't have the build. He figured something out. No, it's not Hugo Strange. Okay. Well, they talk about how Two-Face is here, and he's kind of Two-Face, but maybe they're not doing a literal Two-Face, they're doing a metaphorical Two-Face, where, like, he has this dark persona. No, actually, that's a good guess, but no, that's not what we're doing. We're fucking doing Jim Gordon. We're doing the downfall of fucking Jim Gordon. We're turning Jim Gordon into a Batman villain, and holy shit, I'm here for it. It's so good. When Batman is snooping around, and like you see the scene early on where Batman of course goes to Jim Gordon's house to talk to him about stuff, because that's what Batman does. And Jim ends the conversation by saying, "Don't ever come here again." And, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He's defensive. He doesn't want, Batman snooping around. And no, there was a bigger, deeper, much more frightening reason why he didn't want Batman around. But that reveal was so good, and it just left me struck. Like, I was just sitting there, jaw agape, just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But I buy every part of this. You take the core character, you put them in a scenario which is similar but also very different. You introduce an element that wasn't there in the first place. So we have Jim Gordon as an incredibly tortured individual who's lived through the Civil War and now is more than a little psychotic, but he hides it well, because you got to hide everything in Victorian era, whatever. But like, man, I loved every goddamn moment of this movie, from the Bat Cycle to Alfred taking in the Robins to like every stupid moment of this movie. I fucking love.
Well, I just remember the first time I saw I don't think it was the trailer. I saw just the description of the movie, and all I needed to see was Batman versus Jack the Ripper. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to watch that.
I'm in.
I'm going to watch as much as you want, man.
I'm in.
So right now, I just looked up, Tara Strong is voicing Harley Quinn again soon.
Oh, yeah?
They are making Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, a video game.
Oh.
They're filming it, and she is voicing Harley Quinn in the game.
There you go. Because she does a lot of the voice. She did, I think, all the Arkham Asylum games. She's done most of the animated stuff when she appears. Sometimes they cast someone else. But usually if Mark Hamill's there, Tara Strong is also there. And even when Mark Hamill's not there, Tara Strong is usually represented in one capacity or another.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
She does a lot of stuff.
She does a lot of stuff. She's a very busy woman.
Oh, she voiced young Superman in Superman Red Son.
No kidding.
There you go.
There you go. She's a busy woman. Man, I like that movie a lot.
I love that movie.
I would just take out the Batman part, do a different third act, and I would be in desperate love.
About this, and I don't mind the Batman part, but just they do, like you said, they do the what if so fucking good.
They lean into it. They always lean into it. Marvel will kind of like dip a toe in and be like, but what if? But what if? What if an interesting thing? And then you're like, oh, cool. And they're like, we're not going to explore that idea. We just wanted to bring up the question, but what if? And then DC is like, oh no, we're turning hard down this alley, baby. If it's a cliff, it's a cliff. If it's a gorge, it's a gorge. But we're driving into whatever's going down this way. And
well, like Gods and Monsters, where they had, I mean, Superman was raised by freaking the cartels.
Yeah.
And he's this, I mean, he's kind of an anti-hero. He's pseudo-hero.
Yeah.
And Batman's an actual vampire.
Batman's an actual vampire.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I as much as I love, like, I really liked Aquaman.
Yes.
I really liked the first Wonder Woman.
Yes.
I liked Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes.
Didn't love any of these movies. I liked them a lot.
I think I might have loved Aquaman, but yeah, I agree with you on the others.
See, I didn't like what they did with Manta in Aquaman.
Oh, I loved what they did with Manta and Aquaman.
Or not Manta.
Ocean Master?
No, Black Mantis?
Black Manta, yeah.
Yeah, Manta, yeah. I didn't like what they did with him. He was too much of a throwaway character.
Oh, I was just glad they had the giant helmet that shot beams out of it.
Well, I know. I'm glad they had that too, but it's like, because like even the Aquaman centric animated movies, he's more of a central character.
He's actually like serving in Atlantis.
Yes. And that I kind of like, because I loved that character.
Yeah.
And I was a little upset how they kind of...
Instead of kind of him and Ocean Master coming into a partnership, they've always had a partnership. They've always been in this together,
But they could very easily completely convert all of their movies into just the animated movies and put them out in theaters, and I guarantee they would make money.
I freaking love the animated movies so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's striking. I do wish they would do a better job of the titles.
Yes.
There are a few. I'm looking at you, Son of Batman and Batman versus Robin. These are two terrible names.
But they were great movies.
They were great movies.
Son of Batman was a really good fucking movie.
Terrible names. Great movie.
Yeah. Well, they make so many of them. They're probably just like, oh, no, it's just a fucking call it whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Batman Bad Blood. That doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
That's nothing. So I wish that they would do a little bit more. You could have just named Batman versus Robin Court of Owls, and people would have been like, oh, fuck, they're doing Court of Owls? Oh, shit. I got to go. I'm doing it. Let's go.
And that's the thing, is the majority of these movies, I didn't necessarily watch at first because of the titles.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Like, I don't know if I want to watch that. But then I watch it and you're like, holy shit.
I had never seen Batman versus Robin because the title was so stupid.
Yeah.
And then this last week I was like, well, I'm studying
And the cover art on the box also
stupid.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, let's check it out. And I watched it. I was like, holy shit, this is good.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you need to rename this movie because this is great. Yeah. And the title is terrible. But I remember...
now we gotta talk about something.
Uh-oh.
We gotta talk about Justice League Dark.
Yes, we do.
And the Dark movies.
Yes, we do.
They nailed Constantine.
Oh my God.
So good.
We're talking about actors and actresses who just embody the role, bring it to life in a whole new way. Matt Ryan.
Yes.
Holy shit. He gets one season of TV, but in that one season, he brings back Constantine from this, oh, was that terrible Keanu Reeves movie? Mm-hmm. To, holy shit, Constantine is great.
Yeah.
I fucking love Constantine.
Yeah.
I watched the one where he goes to L.A., and
and he has to find his friend's
Demons,
daughter.
And I was like, even this I love. Even this stupid piece of shit
I
love.
Where the demon is swimming in a pool filled
blood.
With disemboweled bodies.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, it was so good.
Oh, it's good.
But and what I loved about those movies is they took what they did with The Killing Joke and they said, all right, we're going to make some of these animated movies rated R. And they're like, well, if we're going to do that, we're going to do Constantine properly.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Some of those effing Constantine movies, they're
so
bloody,
good.
man.
They're outrageous.
Yeah.
They're
super
outrageous. And it's like, it's not just like, so I have that moment when watching Harley Quinn, when I see civilians just getting killed because they want to make a point and they think it'd be funny to kill these people in a funny way. But watching superhero stuff for so long, just see civilians as civilians. That shit happens to the Justice League.
Yeah.
You get people just ripped in half.
Yeah.
Just
Wonder
straight
Woman
up.
gets her eye ripped out.
Yeah. Mira gets like bifurcated.
Yes. It was so good.
Fucking who was it? It was Shazam gets pulled apart.
Yep.
And holy
shit. It was
shit.
so good.
Oh my God.
And we haven't even talked about Flashpoint.
No.
Which is one of my that was my favorite before I saw Red Hood.
Yeah.
Because Flashpoint
is so good.
Yeah. It's not violent, but they tell the story so well.
Well, just like I love that Barry goes back.
Yeah.
And because of the way he reset his timeline, he now doesn't have powers. And so, like, the first act of the movie is like, shit, I gotta fix this.
Yeah.
And I don't have powers. So I gotta find someone smart. I'll get Bruce Wayne. Oh, he's dead. I'll get his dad?
Which, that is the best twist.
Yes.
Bruce Wayne died. The parents lived. Martha becomes the Joker.
It's so good.
And Thomas Wayne becomes a vigilante Punisher version of the Batman.
Like the Zack Snyder, we've talked about it many times, but what
it really
that
is the Punisher. He really is the Punisher.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
100% the Punisher.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, so good.
It's so good.
The only problem I have with that movie,
yeah,
and I've watched it again recently, is from the opening act to when he runs back to save his mom. It's kind of disjointed.
The Flash Museum stuff.
Like, you go right from the Flash Museum to him running back in time.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, it seemed like they were missing a scene or two.
There should have been a moment where Barry was like, man, I really miss my mom.
Yeah.
And I know I shouldn't, but I just gotta try. I can't not try.
Yeah.
Like something. I agree with you on that.
It was very off-putting.
Because he pretty much wakes up the next morning in this alternate reality, and you're just like, wait.
Because you see him after he leaves the Flash Museum running through the Time Force, and then all of a sudden he wakes up.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh.
I
don't remember that.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I want to put out an honorable mention for Justice League Doom.
Yes.
With
also great.
Savage.
Yes.
As the main villain.
Yes.
That was also very
Hell
good.
to Pay, also with Savage as the main villain.
I forgot about Hell to Pay.
But also finishes up the Flashpoint storyline with the Reverse Flash. Oh, it's so... There's a lot of moments where I kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, ugh. But that is also an excellent...
So, folks, what we're saying is you need to see these movies.
If you haven't yet, you're doing a disservice.
And if you have HBO Max, you have no reason...
You have all of them.
...not to watch... Well, almost all of them. I noticed there's some that are missing.
I think Nightwing and Robin was one of the ones that I really wanted to see, and it wasn't there.
I believe, didn't they just put the original Batman animated series up on that?
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. The original
and you
Superman.
got to start with that.
Yeah.
Flat out, if you have not seen the Batman animated series, greatest cartoon ever made.
Yeah.
You need to start with that.
Yeah.
That has to be the kickoff point because it is the most brilliantly made animation for at least the first couple seasons. Then when they put Robin in, it was still good, but it lost...
I like the Dick Grayson Robin.
Yeah.
Because there's some really dark episodes.
There are some dark episodes.
But when they get to Tim Drake Robin,
is
I was like, I'm bailing. I'm done.
You could tell they were doing the series for long enough. And
the animation had gone cheaper. And
But the first two seasons, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, completely dark.
Yeah.
Just depressing. There is nothing happy about those cartoons.
Yeah. Well, there's an entire saga of the Clock King where he just is this beaten down man who's tired of everybody else not being on time, and like that's his whole thing.
Yeah.
And man, you feel for him by the end of that.
Yeah.
Or like I love the Riddler in that series. The Riddler's so
great.
good in that series.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Phenomenal. Just everyone is great, and it's because they took it seriously. And the music is fantastic. I love the artwork they do in the intros because they're always like a noir type artwork where they do the title. Of course, it gave us Harley Quinn. It gave us Mark Hamill. And since I'm not a Star Wars fan, my favorite thing he's ever done. Gave us the greatest Batman ever made, which is Kevin Conroy.
Yes, I agree with you.
Flat out.
I
love Michael Keaton. Kevin Conroy.
Conversation begins and ends with Conroy.
Kevin Conroy, yep. He is the best Batman because he's able to do what Christian Bale could never do. He has a Bruce Wayne voice, and he has a Batman voice.
And they're both good.
Very good.
Yeah.
The Batman voice is, and it's not far off.
No.
But there's still enough that you can tell which was which.
He just talks like this.
Yeah.
Whereas like Bruce Wayne, he's talking like this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll see you at the country club.
Okay, now we're making him sound like Seinfeld now. But yeah, so start with Batman, move on through some of the animated, and then go right into the movies.
Yes.
And the movies, once again, be warned, the rated R movies are very rated R.
Very rated R.
Okay.
I want to do a special shout out to Young Justice. Have you watched Young Justice?
I have not watched Young Justice.
Watch Young Justice.
Is this a show?
It is a show.
Okay.
So it's a very fascinating show because it starts out as kind of like a teeny bopper show.
Okay.
And they were story driven and character focused, which means that girls really liked the show, which means the people behind the show were like, well, it's a failure. And they canceled it after 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. But the first season is the sidekicks of the Justice League kind of forming their own team and coming together. It's Teen Titans without them being called the Teen Titans.
Okay.
And then the second one skips like 5 years and is different, but the same, but different.
Interesting.
And then the next one skips another like 4 years. So by this time, they're all in their mid-20s, and it's about the next generation of people that they bring in. But it's also about Black Lightning does a mission with Nightwing. And while he's on that mission, he finds out that I think Vandal Savage is kidnapping kids and turning them into monsters.
Okay.
And so he kills one of the monsters, and then he learns this, and he realizes that he's killed a kid, and he breaks down.
Really?
And he becomes this third member of the team who is just this guy who's trying to deal with the abysmal guilt he feels and whether he still wants to be a superhero. And it is so fucking good.
That's some heavy shit.
It's so good. It's so good. And every element of it is good. You know, there's like, they do a Teen Titans thing where you have like Beast Boy and Blue Beetle and all these other guys, but you also have like Nightwing doing his thing. And they don't hold your hand. They expect you to pick up what's going on by the animation, by what's going on in the background, by what characters are here. So, you know, like, we begin season 3 and there's like a Bat team. And it's not just the Robins. It's like Batwoman through Oracle through like people I've never even heard of. And they aren't going to sit there and introduce you to all these characters because they're not important, but also like they go and they put these characters in. You know, they talk about multiple Kid Flashes, and you know, they kill off characters that are important to the plot, and like, it's a solid, excellent animated series. Highly recommend.
I need to watch it. All right, so now I got a new thing to watch.
Yeah, now you got
fantastic.
Yeah.
Which I love Nightwing. He's one of my favorite characters.
He's really
and one
good.
of my favorite superheroes. I love him.
You see him start as Robin and evolve into Nightwing.
Yeah, and Nightwing's such a badass. He's a perfect mix between Robin and Batman. It's like that right in between.
That moment in Apocalypse War when they reveal that Nightwing died and then got put into the Lazarus Pit and then went crazy.
Went out of his fucking mind.
Oh my god, Apocalypse War is so good.
It's so good.
It's so when they have Trigon fight Darkseid in multiple ways, I'm just like, holy shit, this is so good. That line that he has about, well, new god, let's see how godly you are.
And how he was bored throughout the entire show or movie. And then he's finally like, all right, finally. So,
Oh, it's so good. Superman, after Lois dies, and he comes back to himself, and he's just beating the shit out of Darkseid. He pulls a Loki Hulk on Darkseid.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Well, I think what we're saying, folks, is you need to watch these movies.
Yes.
All right. We've been talking for a very long time.
Yes, we have
to end this show.